so good to see you. Been so long since I've done one of these lives. So if you're dropping in live with me, please say hi. Let me know where you're coming from, where you're listening from, watching from. It'd be lovely to connect with you. So every Wednesday about 10 o'clock-ish, I'm going to be popping on with a Wednesday workshop. And it's for my mompreneurs group and my other business clients. But I thought, you know what, lots of people I'm sure will just listen in and perhaps in their, even their daily lives, take use of some of these tips. So today's session is going to be about distractions and distraction to action. I have a challenge as well, which is coming, you can have a look at that. It's a free challenge that we do, 5 days. We'll tell you a little bit more about that if you follow the pages later. But today, this is a free webinar workshop for you on distraction to action. And today we're going to explore some strategies for diminishing the daily distractions, if you like, the ones that, the ones that cause us to lose focus on business tasks. As we all know too well, distractions hurt our business and our ability to grow and attract new clients. And without clients, we don't have a business. So it's very, very important to understand our transactions. Hey, Jai, thanks for joining. So if you've been plagued by distractions, have no fear, you're not alone. And there are strategies and tools which we'll discuss today that are very easy to implement. So grab your conscious cuppa. For me, I've got my water here. Take some notes, and get ready to take action, after we end today. So before we get started, I'm Fiona Jeanne. I'm sure many of you have seen me before, the Purposeful Warrior. And I want everybody to see what's possible when they don't give up on their dreams. Anything's possible. And I'm drawn to this mission, if you like, in life, because no one has to pimp themselves out for the dreams of others. We all have choice. Choose you. I did, and I've never looked back. So let's start off today by taking a virtual poll. Those of you who are here live, if you've never been distracted during your work day, raise your hand. And if you're watching a replay, #replay, then comment now. So what sort of distractions do I mean? I'm talking here perhaps about no household chores while you're getting, your breakfast or your coffee, no daydreaming about your vacation plans, no writing, out your grocery list. So I know I've done all of these things. I even did it this morning, put a load of washing on while I was still, supposedly in work mode. So it's amazing really how many distractions do turn up in our daily lives, and then we wonder, where's the day gone? If you are able to sit and concentrate solely on work in between your meal breaks, then you've got the magic and you don't really need to be here. So congratulations, I celebrate you. However, for the rest of us as humans, we're destined to have short attention span. With the onslaught of technology and our brain, if you like, and attention is drawn to millions and millions of pieces of information each and every moment of every day. If anything, we all suffer from information overload, which makes focusing much harder. Hey, Mariana, lovely, frankly, for joining us. So over the last years, if you like, parents have also noted this short-term attention span in their children. Teachers notice it in the classroom. Smartphones have kids. Well, it gives the kids what? Instant gratification, right? And constant connection, plus fun games. Not necessarily all educational either. So it's no wonder that parents often complain about the difficulty of getting kids unplugged. Internet addiction's a real thing, and not just for the children, right? It's for all of us. One of the best illustrations of being distracted occurred in one of my favorite movies, actually, the Disney movie Up. One of the characters, Doug the dog, is famous for holding conversation, and then midway through, just noticing a squirrel and thought, oh, and it interrupts his speech and train of thought. How many times Has that happened to you? You know, where you've been really into something, something happens, like I can hear my dog barking now, and I'm not allowing it to become a distraction. But that wasn't always the case for me. It's comical in the movie, and many joke about, you know, being this way in real life. But how do distractions affect you? I'd love to know. Comment in the comment box. Well, how do distractions show up for you? It's worth exploring, isn't it? Because if you're getting distracted in work, I bet your bottom dollar it's showing up in other places of your life as well. So we start off by acknowledging your distractions and making a list. You know, what do you face during your workday? I bet some of them are going to surprise you if you dig deeper than just email and social media, you know, which we all think are distractions at times. But we'll definitely cover those. Yes, we will. Yet think about all the little things that occupy your day. You know, if you find you're late getting starting in your day, why is that? How are you spending those early hours? Are you scrolling on your phone, perhaps catching up on last night's TV show? That's been me at times. You might have this as dubbed as me time, you know, which certainly is important. It's important to have that me time, yet it's impacting your productivity. Jai is saying he has distractions all the time. It takes the time that should have been done to do most things important. Sort of TikTok. Oh my gosh, TikTok. Yes, I know TikTok. I think it's marvelous. I think it's a great tool to be used. I myself can find losing hours on TikTok if I open it, but I want to start using it in my business. So it's one of those things that have to find a way to be productive with it. Are you able to grow your business and produce content your audience is begging for and serving all your clients whilst accepting these distractions? The answer is no, then you're in the right place to make a start to identifying these distractions and starting to take action to do things differently. After you take the inventory of distractions, then really it's about thinking about your why. Why did you start your business? You know, why did you become a coach, a consultant, a mompreneur, a solopreneur, whatever it is for you? And even if you're not a business owner, but distractions are inhibiting your life or, you know, causing you to lose periods of time, be it in your workplace, with your home and family, then these strategies are useful for you as well. Sometimes our whys change, and that's okay. It's okay to pivot and to bend and to change and morph into an even bigger why as you change and you evolve and grow yourself. When we reconnect with our why, so you can focus your energy on the big picture. This is why we need to reconnect with it. So our energy is always focused on our big picture goals. If you have a vision board, put it in a prominent place in your office or your home. Perhaps take a photograph of it, save it as your screensaver or your, you know, computer phone wallpaper. And if you like more like me and prefer to journal, then revisit some of the old entries and remember why you chose this path. You might just uncover nuggets you've forgotten or a story that holds some importance in your decision making. I did this recently myself over the last few months. Whilst I was having a few things going on, I decided to go through some old journals. And boy, the creativity and the programs and the things that are popping out for you guys as a result of that, phenomenal. No matter what answer you discover, just reconnect to your why, reconnect to you. And this process isn't going to totally eliminate all of your distractions altogether. In fact, some people believe your distractions will always remain. And that to an extent is true. However, it's how you react to the distraction, the speed at which you can shift your thinking away from the distraction, and is the difference between reaching your goal and getting stuck in the quicksand. Committed action, I call it successing. We can talk about that in another workshop. is what will propel you towards your goals and strategies I'm sharing today for action steps that you can implement fairly quickly. We've got a lot to get through, so grab your paper and let's get started, shall we? I'm going to keep this fairly quick and simple. We'll go into it in a different, deeper level in the masterclass coming very soon. I think it's the 18th of May. Check the diary on that one. But these are some of the things that you can do right now. So step one is set a rock solid schedule for your deep work and slay your most demanding tasks. Procrastination is an avoidance technique that serves no purpose whatsoever in our lives. We get ourselves wrapped up in the difficulty of it, the duration of the task, and we talk ourselves out of doing it. Intellectually, we know that the task isn't going away, right? We know that it's there, especially if you're a solopreneur, yet it gives us a temporary feeling of relaxation. That's always sort of like just pushing it off to the side for now and breathe, and we'll do it later. However, it only leads us to ultimately to more stress, because when you're behind on a deadline, you're missing client prep, or you're backing out of networking events, you're creating unnecessary stress on yourself, your business, ultimately your family, your home. And it's completely unavoidable if you learn how to prioritize your work. Deep work, what is that? It includes anything that you're creating. It's that social media content, the email newsletters, the books, the ebooks, the sales funnels, the content. It's the way that you are and you show up to nurture your clients. While the shallow work includes anything else that's less cognitively demanding. Shallow work consists of tasks that others can do. Perhaps it's the graphic design, if you're not a designer, tasks that I say don't create much value. They do. They form an important part of your business, like perhaps unproductive meetings, answering emails. They're valuable components, but they're shallow work that you can outsource. You can outsource to a VA or an assistant and get them to help you with these things. And if you were to take an inventory of your daily tasks and you find your shallow work outnumbers your deep work, then it's time to outsource to a VA. So how do you get that deep work done? You minimize distraction. Isn't this why we're here talking about distraction to action? As a distraction really is anything you'd rather be doing than deep work. It's I'll go a bit further and say that it's an escape, if you like, an escape from your important work, which is what pushes you out of your comfort zone. In many cases, you feel the desire to procrastinate because you're on the cusp of personal growth, that new evolution, that, Fiona Jeanne version, I don't know how many versions now, version 12, 15, whatever it happens to be. And when the nervous energy builds up, especially when you're trying something new, is when you must push through and take that leap of faith. Think about this. How many times have you dreaded starting a project or something that, only to find out that it wasn't as difficult or as long as you expected it to be? It's often a surprise realization where you question why you thought it would be so difficult or take so long. Where did that story come from? I've learned over the years that these stories have often really have no basis in reality. They're just made up by our ego, which is meant to keep us safe and in our comfort zone. But think about how great it feels to realize that stretching out of that comfort zone wasn't nearly as difficult as you expected it to be. Procrastination is the creator of many bad habits. Here's a rhetorical question for you. What happens when you'd rather scroll aimlessly through your social media than instead of work on your latest course, on your latest course, or when you're looking at your phone notifications instead of prepping for your next client? Do you think your business is going to grow with procrastination distraction? I'd love to know in the comments. Is that a yes or a no? Most of us simply try to use our willpower to overcome distraction. However, you may or may not know this, but we all have a limited amount of willpower. When you start off with a finite amount of willpower, or anything in fact, You'll quickly deplete your supply if you're constantly going backwards and forth between the deep work and the distraction. As your day goes on, you find it's more difficult to avoid the distraction and often feel deflated perhaps at the end of the day, believing you wasted too much time. Many people who fall into this way of thinking believe that they're always trying to play catch up by adding the work they should have done today to tomorrow's to-do list. And as you can guess, this thinking and being, this way of doing things is not sustainable. So instead of playing catch up, let's focus instead on putting perimeters in place that will get the work done and eliminate the distractions. Here's a couple of strategies that you could, perhaps try to get that deep work done once you've done the identification. Give yourself finite limits, because Parkinson's law states that work will expand into the time allotted. And when we set the limit to something, for everything on your plate means you'll limit procrastination and you'll actually also banish burnout. For example, declaring that I'll finish this book outline in 3 hours is useful because you're working against the clock. Your brain recognizes the time limit, provided it's a reasonable one, and it will be easier to avoid distractions because of that limitation. Another thing you can do is create batch days. Group similar tasks together, such as taking all your calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, writing and planning social media on Mondays, choosing a particular day for a type of task, and schedule shallow work around that schedule. Another thing is to get to know yourself. I love this. Get to know yourself even more. It's important to know how long you can realistically create or even concentrate in a given week or a given day. I use a Pomodoro technique. It's that 25-minute burst followed by a 5-minute break. I find it really works well for me. So once you decide on your general philosophy to your approach to your unique deep work, if you like, schedule it and stick to it. The boundary setting is extremely important if you want to grow your business. Scheduling, deep work into your calendar and sticking to that. The next factor to look at is, when are you most productive in your day? Not everyone's a morning person. And there's those who aren't night owls. What type of schedule you decide doesn't matter, but be sure to schedule your days within the times when you're most naturally productive. So which scenario resonates with you the most? Number one, do you notice you tend to have lots of focus in the morning? If so, then plan to do your deep work in the morning and save your shallow afternoons, shallow work for the afternoons where your energy dips. Number two, do you need to ease into your day but thrive in the evening when the house is quiet? If so, schedule your calls for mid-late afternoon and save your creative work for night. You kind of both jive. That's good to know. What is it you think that makes you kind of both? Is it different on different days? When I did this work, I found that it was the kind of food I was eating. It was the lack of exercise or movement in the day. Sometimes music, boosts my productivity. There are lots of things that you can try. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I've got lots of other stuff to go through, but I want to make this short and sweet. So I really want to, just focus on that. Do those things, work through your why, work through the distractions, make the list, identify what is your deep and your shallow work, and get to know yourself. Get to know yourself when you're most productive, and have to schedule and stick to it, because distractions at work are nothing new. Whether you're in an office building, with people around you, or in a home office working solo, if your brain wants to check out from your current task, it's going to find a way to do it. If you're not distracted by your co-workers talking about last gate's name, you're going to be distracted by the piles of laundry sitting unfolded in your bedroom. The key is how you react to these distractions and the steps you take to avoid them. So again, I've got a masterclass coming on this next week on the 18th. We'll be posting the link up on probably Friday or Saturday. For you to register, I'd love to see you there to join me, where we'll dig into this even more with a lot more strategies, beautiful workbook for you to work through. And yeah, let's get those strategies and strategies in place, distractions under control. So from me to you, remember, be your own boss. Do whatever it takes. Bye for now.